Yeah, I'm 198 centimeter.
Okay.
Yeah, but I cannot play basketball. So.
All right, so not everyone has to play NBA, so I think starting a company is a good thing. So can you tell us more about Zeabur and yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Yuanlin, and I'm the founder and CEO of Zeabur. So at Zeabur, we are building an AI DevOps engineer which can help the individual developers or early stage startups can handle their services on the cloud with very easy and no tedious tasks can do. And our AI agent handle the deployment, operation, monitoring, and data backups on the cloud very easily.
Okay, thank you. And Ivan, this is the second time we met. First time was 2 months ago in Silicon Valley. You had a great performance and fireside chat, but still like you to introduce to the audience. Tell us more about yourself and Wavv.
Well, thank you, John, for this wonderful event. So I'm Ivan, and I'm with Wavv, which is a music and artificial intelligence venture based in the Silicon Valley. And we understand that music is everywhere. And as a matter of fact, if you're around the conference here today, you are actually experiencing music and soundtracks that are generated by our AI throughout the conference. So I hope you had a great time enjoying our music throughout the event.
Okay, and thank you. And Yuanlin, I find one thing in common on stage that we both wear the Brooks shoes and the Gore-Tex version. So I think that's a must-wear for the entrepreneurs, right? Okay. So can you two briefly describe maybe one sentence that how AI has impacted you as a role of entrepreneur along the way? So how about start from Ivan?
Well, AI is pretty much essential nowadays, and I would probably say I breathe with AI. It's very hard to imagine. Well, it's been quite hard to imagine there was a world without internet. But now going forward, we're going to think that it's incredibly hard to imagine that there is a world without AI. We use AI every day. I remember a few weeks ago there was a time when ChatGPT was down for a few hours. That made me realize how much I actually rely on using artificial intelligence pretty much every day, every hour, every minute.
Okay. And by the way, Ivan has a long history with the entertainment business. I remember when you were a kid, you play in the drama Bao Qing Tian, right? You have a character in that, right?
I would never imagine I'm sitting here talking about technology and AI, knowing that when I was 5 years old, I was actually part of the TV shows back then when there was only 3 channels in Taiwan.
Right. So how many of you in the audience have heard or watched Bao Qing Tian before? Gosh, I mean, this.
So then you probably have seen me on the TV, season 1, episode 1.
Okay. And how about you, Yuanlin? How has AI impacted you as an entrepreneur along the way?
Yeah, I think I will use a keyword called redefine as AI impact my entrepreneur journey. It's because when I just started Zeabur, actually this product is facing for the traditional developer. But after ChatGPT came out, after the AI is redefining the whole product development ecosystem, we trying to find out a new ICP, ideal customer profile for Zeabur. So now everyone is using Cursor or Cloud Code to build their own product. And we just want to make sure they can deploy this in the same way, just like Cursor. So this is the first part which AI is redefining. And the second part AI is redefining is the whole product experience of our platform. Because in the beginning, Zeabur is just like a traditional PaaS, platform as a service, like Vercel or Render or Heroku. But we soon realized that we don't have any differentiation between those existing competitors. So we need to find out, is there any way we can make some differentiation? And so this year, we're trying to integrate the AI agent into our auto deployment system, and becomes very easy to use for those vibe coders can deploy their product very easily.
You know, people usually like drama, right? So I'm just curious, is there a moment before you started Zeabur that the tools you're using, you think, well, this just suck. I mean, I have to build up, you know, start up my own and build up one. Is there such a moment?
Yeah, so the interesting thing is Zeabur is just my graduation project in college. And it's because during the 4 years of my college, I have so many outsourcing jobs or so many side projects of myself. And I'm really annoying and very tedious about how to deploy and manage this side project to the cloud by myself. So I just talked to my professor, says, can I build a platform that can handle the deployment for myself as my graduation project? And my professor just said, you can do whatever you want, because everyone knows as an undergraduate student, the graduation project is useless for the most part. But after I built this platform and I shared to my roommate says, wow, this project really works. It can use to deploy my project. So he advised me to submit this project into a Star Accelerator. That's how I start this project.
And you graduate from Zhejiang University, right?
Yeah,
and I
that's correct.
remember the founder of DeepSeek is also from that university. So the university is kind of, you know, has cultivated quite a few geniuses like you, right? So how is that?
Yeah, so actually we don't have too much communication with Liang Wenfeng. It's because it's too famous.
The founder of DeepSeek.
Yeah. So, but there's a thing I can share is there's really very strong entrepreneur vibe in the Zhejiang University. And I believe there is also some vibe in NTU came out because there is a new venture called NTU Venture, right? So I believe this kind of entrepreneur vibe can bring into Taiwan.
Right, but you two took, I mean, you and Liang Wenfeng took very different paths, because I remember he joined a financial company first and then left to start up his own and make some money and you know, invest in DeepSeek. So basically, with his own money, he started up the company as his own angel investor and VC as well. But you started from a graduation project, so that's quite different. Okay.
I think I'm very lucky because I got accepted by the accelerator before I graduated from the university. So I don't have any cost to determine if I want to have a full-time startup or go to a big company to make some money and then start my startup company.
Okay. And Ivan, how about you? Is there such aha moment for you that, you know, to you, AI is not just a tool, but something like it could be the next creative partner? Is there such moment for you?
Well, totally. First of all, in music industry, we started to use technology for quite a while. Actually, as a matter of fact, even though it's, let's say, human music producers and songwriters, pretty much, I would say at this point, more than 95% of the songs, pop songs or film soundtracks, those are created through multiple softwares all together so that you can get to the final music there. So artists and music producers have been working with technology for quite a while, but now we're looking at this new technology, and as a matter of fact, AI is not that new. It's been out there for quite a few decades, but now artificial intelligence is sort of like coming into every industry. So we started to look at how we can actually leverage this as a, first of all, powerful tool, and second of all, if we can actually create some kind of a co-pilot presentation. So for instance, when we were back in Silicon Valley, there was a little bit of performance that was co-pilot between humans and machines. So we started to experience whether it's a live music presentation or studio music recording sessions, then we started to see that whether it's an AI agent or it's a new AI language model, it's actually becoming quite creative that you can actually get inspired from. And we do believe that we're in 2025 and going forward 2035, we're seeing that, particularly for music, there are so many new ways that music can be created, and music can be produced, and music can be performed, and those are some of the ways that we've never imagined before. And as a result, you're going to see way more music that's coming to the world. So when you see whether AI is a tool or a creative partner, it's actually a little bit of both. And you pretty much live with it. You get ideas out of different kinds of data set and outputs. Then you get to the place where it could accelerate music production. That's the one most pain point for say, film composers, because if you work on a AAA video games or Hollywood tier 1 film productions, it would occupy you around 3 to 4 months to work on only one IP, and that would be like 2 to 3 IPs per year. But if you wanted to be increasing your productivity in music production or to create music that can be everywhere, right? We're talking about, we set an example. Now the music's being used in technology conferences. Our AI music's being used in shopping malls. Our AI music's being used in advertising content. And it's pretty much everywhere. And it's really important for us to see how we could partner with this technology so that going forward, it's an entire ecosystem between creators, distributors, publishers, and consumers. So it's an ecosystem that we're actually seeing going forward for the next 10 to 20 years.
Yeah, and AI kind of opened up the horizon for everybody, right? So there seems to be endless opportunity, and everything moves so fast. But as an entrepreneur, you need to define which market you are targeting and what resources you are going to put in. So far, could you share with us what might be the biggest problem or challenges you face in your respective industry or companies? I will start from Ivan.
Yeah, well, obviously, one of the biggest problems right now in generative AI in entertainment is copyright, right? There are so many lawsuits going on. There are litigations going on. One of our competitions, they raised $150 million, and they're being sued for $200 million. So it's getting insane where traditional players and new coming players are trying to find a way to work together. But when you see the opportunities going on there, that's where the human nature is. We found the problems and we started to find a way to solve it. So as a matter of fact, our first client was totally out of expectation. Last year, when solar eclipse happened, NASA came to us and they were being straightforward. So Ivan, I don't know if your team can actually make it or not, but we are 10 days away from solar eclipse, and we wanted to add the layer of music to enhance the experience when hundreds of millions of users, hundreds of millions of viewers are experiencing the solar eclipse. And we were like, well, for this scale of the production, usually it would take around 2 months to 3 months. And they were like, okay, well, you have 10 days, so try to use some kind of AI to deploy your music. So we tried. Within a week, we deployed the first version of the music, and we sent it to the director for NASA, and immediately they loved the music. They didn't know it was AI, and they couldn't believe it was so fast. So at the end of the day, around 150 million viewers for that broadcast, and it opened so many doors for us where clients and partners are starting to realize that music is one critical layer to increase and enhance experience. Like, try to imagine if you go watch a film and the film is muted. Try to think about if you're playing a video game and that video game doesn't have sound. So actually, it's everywhere, and I'm really glad that like now we're realizing the importance, and it's actually quite critical, and we're empowering this industry through the technology.
And for Hollywood, I suppose for music industry as well, that the opposition from the union has always been a hurdle. So I'm not sure if that applies to the AI.
Exactly. Oh my God, John, this is going to be a 3-hour conversation. I'm going to answer all the questions.
You only have like 20 minutes. So
Exactly. So union's one thing, but because we started to communicate with and chatting with quite a few people from the entertainment field. So last week, I'm pretty sure we have some audience sitting here who watched K-pop Demon Hunters, right, on Netflix. It's now the most popular film on Netflix. So we spoke with the film director, and we trying to test water. Okay, so if there's this new technology that artificial intelligence can actually help entertainment, do you want to try, or do you not want to do it? And we also tried to talk to several people, including Joseph Kosinski, who directed Top Gun Maverick, as well as the latest Formula One movie. So they came to San Francisco. There was a private screening at the Lucasfilm, which is based in San Francisco, and we started to talk about, okay, how this technology could be potential support to your next movie. And immediately, these film directors, they are really embracing the new way of creating content. And it's totally changing our mind when we started to hear last year when there was a strike in Hollywood, when content creators are concerned. Yes, the concern is still there, but I think we all are realizing that it's coming in as a support, as a partnership, not taking away artist's job. And I think this is the transition period of time where we're experiencing where there will be more educations going on, there will be more successful use case that can be presented. But I think we're in the very early places where AI is getting into all the industries. I'm pretty sure getting into your industry as well, which is we need a little more time for everyone to actually get adopted with this tech.
Okay, thank you, Ivan. And Yuanlin, what is the biggest challenge or hurdle now faced by your company or your industry?
Yeah, so for our industry, there is a very interesting thing that just like Ian from Cursor said, how an engineer building their product is very, very different compared to the last year or maybe like 5 years ago. But if you can look into how engineer is managing and deploying their product to the cloud, it's exactly the same like 10 years ago. And why these things came out is because DevOps, the operation sense is very dangerous and very critical. I'm not sure if anyone is impacted by the outage of Cloudflare yesterday. There are so many websites like X, like YouTube is just down because there is a very, very small mistake in Cloudflare and all the biggest website is just down and you cannot access it. So if the senior engineer can produce such a big outage, who can trust AI agent to manage your infrastructure? So I think that's the biggest challenge for our cloud operation industry to integrate the AI, the ability of AI into the real solution. Yeah.
And for these application and tool providers like yours, I think there's constant threat from these big companies or this large language model because they just keep evolving, iterating their capabilities as well. And every time a new iteration came out, there is this kind of worry that might wipe out a lot of solution or tools or application providers. It's just like what I asked Ian, that 2 days ago we saw the Gemini 3 being released by Google. So there's a lot of worry about these application companies being wiped out. And perhaps I see some exaggerated version that even the competition is over. So I'd like to get your view on that.
Yeah, so I think it's a really good question because every time when OpenAI or Gemini release a new feature, there will be a bunch of startups just dead. And for Zeabur, there is a strategy we are trying to using is that we are trying to integrate so many different cloud providers and so many different programming language, which means we are using an open ecosystem strategy to prevent, for example, when Gemini can deploy and manage the services on the cloud, it might be just support Google Cloud. Because Gemini is introduced by Google, and from the concept, they cannot manage the services on the AWS. But with Zeabur, since we are trying to integrate the open ecosystem, we can use any language model to manage any cloud from any provider. And I think that's the current strategy we are using right now.
Okay. And next, I have a common question for you too, and starting from Ivan, that you're in the music industry, but very different from traditional music industry. So I'm wondering that what kind of talents you are looking for, or they are working in your team right now.
Well, I guess during the past around 15 years, I have been in gaming industry, and some of our previous projects, including Final Fantasy and Assassin's Creed, there's one thing in common that we're looking for talents, which is you cannot be an expert just in one field. I mean, yes, we totally understand you have to be hyper focused, but in the meantime, for a venture that's early stage, we're wearing so many different hats. And as we scale, we're gonna start delegate to a increasing number of team members that we can actually work with, that we're gonna have engineers and managers working in the fields that they're really good at. But one thing that's not going to change for startup is that it's changing all the time. And it's not just about the market, and not even mentioning AI market is now moving really fast, like one day could be a month. So for that, the skill to adopt and to learn and to really embrace a lot of new things, especially I was talking to my team during the lunch, which is, it's moving so fast, so you gotta really be open-minded and to really catch up and to really become leading in your field. One thing that's really important is that while you stay hyper-focused, you gotta be open-minded, and because there's no reference to learn from, you're creating the newest thing. Whatever you're doing is going to be the world's first. So for that, we've gotta embrace so many unstable occasions and also scenarios where we need to always make certain changes as we go. So we stay put, we stay ahead, and also stay innovative all the time.
Yeah, so it's like one of our panelists mentioned earlier in the panel discussion that you need to be like Shohei Ohtani. You can pitch, you can hit, right? Or pretty much like his teammate Mookie Betts. You can play in the outfield and in the infield too. So that gives you more opportunity.
Exactly. For example, when I was the music director of Assassin's Creed, and when we talked about AI, one of the requests was, okay, so we at Ubisoft, now we're building open world game, but we don't know if we can actually create this adaptive environment where in an open world game, when a user starts travel, where you meet different people, you create your own storyline, you have your own quest. Can we actually create new music, like a personalized music for such experience? So this is something that no one has ever done before. So we have to do our own research, we have to develop the new technology, we have to start adapting and deploying into the ecosystem of their IP. So for that, if you don't stay open-minded and to research enough amount of data and intel, it's very hard to move forward. So building a team is also an art for an early stage venture for sure.
Okay. And Yuanlin, how many staff in Zeabur right now?
Yeah, we have 10 people in our team right now. Yeah.
10? Okay, so what is the profile of a Zeabur? Can you describe? So what are the skill sets that are needed for working in the company?
Yes, so in Zeabur, we have three kinds of engineer, which is platform engineer, design engineer, and support engineer. And there's an interesting thing I can share is after AI came out, after Cursor and Cloud Code, we don't hire UI UX designer anymore, as well as the front-end engineer. We don't hire these two kind of people because as you can imagine in the traditional software company, there is always a UI design team which use Figma to design the user interface. And they will hand off the design into the front-end engineer team to implement the front-end code. But you will notice that there is a communication gap between two kind of role. And every time the front-end engineer implement the code is not exactly the same with the design. And there will be a come and back forward. It's very inefficient. So in Zeabur, we are trying to hiring the design engineer, which means you are a UI designer. You can design the user interface by yourself. But after you design, you can use Cursor or Cloud Code to implement the front end by yourself. In this case, we can make sure the designer can handle exactly the same product just like how he designed. And in this way, we can have a more efficiency in our product management. And also, since Zeabur is a company which is focused on the user experiments, I think this kind of tool can be well used in most of AI startup.
So size of 10, do you think it's enough or too little or too many? Size of 10 people.
We are still trying to hire more people, so 10 is not enough for now. So if there is any people trying to find a design engineer role, please contact me.
So it's a shame that the cake guy just left. So, but anyway, we'll pass a message to him that if you need resume, well, they pretty much can help you collect them. But what's your response to the idea that recently getting popular about this one-man unicorn? Just one guy can do it all and get a company, with valuation over $1 billion US. Because a lot of functions or capabilities are shared by AI tools. So that, one Superman, efficient man can have a startup and, can make it to the 1 billion valuation. What do you think about that?
Yeah, actually, I'm agree with the last panel speaker. She said, if there is a man who can become the Superman, the one-man unicorn, he will just be acquired before he become a unicorn, because it's too powerful and he knows too much about how to use the AI agent as an employee for himself. So I think in this situation, there's no chance for him to become a unicorn. Yeah.
Okay. So what about Ivan? So in the entertainment industry or in the music industry, is this kind of one-man unicorn possible?
Well, yes. When you look at music industry or music publishers or even record labels, like the A&R director, say, of Sony Music or the CEO of Universal Music pretty much can make the one critical decision that could influence that could shake the industry, right? Even though it's not very much technical related, but the thing is that, and that's actually where the problem is for our industry, which is it's too much centralized. The entire music industry is pretty much ruled by a very small group of lawyers, and they establish an infrastructure which is, if we are seeing this today in 2025, would be quite outdated, because try to talk to your friends who write music and ask them, can you actually write music and make a living? If the answer is yes, then please contact us, because that's very unusual. Usually when it comes to music, you gotta be Hans Zimmer, you gotta be Billie Eilish, you gotta be at the very top of the pyramid so that you can do that. But I do think for this kind of structure going forward, if we can change that scenario, meaning yes, there could be one superpower team member or one superpower artist, but look at 8 billion population right now in the world, and even today, it's still not easy to create music or to write music. You still gotta have proper software. You gotta work with the team. Then you can come up with music. But the music that was being played in the conference, that was composed within 0.5 seconds. We're talking about a music production that was going to take 3 weeks to 4 weeks, but now it's 0.5 seconds per piece. So you started to see how this could go forward. And if in this world, every one of us, including you, John, if you can become a music curator by using this technology, then that means we're expanding the scenario where everyone can actually become a music creator and everyone can actually create, produce, distribute, which is not existing right now in 2025.
Yeah, you're right. I think with the help of AI tools progressing fast, everyone is empowered. So me, amateur, but I probably one day could be create a song or be a vibe coder, with the tools help. But I think one thing is that, how does AI, on the one hand, help company and people, but on the other hand, as an entrepreneur, how do you find a way to for this kind of monetization to make money? Because we believe that AI has a bright future, but it's a long way to go. Now it's in the early stage, and it's not going to be a smooth ride. It's going to be ups and downs, several times. So as an entrepreneur, how do you handle the pressure or request that how does your business make money, and how do you restore enough financial resources to make sure when that day comes, you are the one standing on the stage?
Well, for us at Wavv, the first question that we always ask is that where do people buy music and who actually buys music? And when you go deeper enough, instantly you realize that you're not focused on this group of users who would pay $15 to $20 per month on a subscribing platforms such as Spotify or Apple Music. So let me give you an example. So Google spend $4 to $5 billion a year on licensing music. So Snapchat spend $500 to $600 million a year, and we're talking about after 1 year has passed, you're going to pay another $500 million to music publishers. So very quickly, we started to realize that we shouldn't target like a B2C consumer business. And there are so many music AI B2C businesses out there. And we all saw the news being sued for $200 million. Another one recently is settled down with a Universal Music Group. But one thing that's really important is that we seek places when music is there, then there will be our footprint of technology. So we start to look at the buyers where we talk about advertising, right? When you browse stories, reels on social media platforms, on TikTok, there's no way that you can use TikTok, Instagram without hearing a little bit of music and sound. So we started to target these enterprise level clients, and because they want to have a much larger number of music, they want to create a variety, they wanted to create a platform there so content can be created. So we started to look at B2B2C model very quickly. That's why we started to try shopping malls as a retail space. We started to try gaming studios, and advertising is doing great. And we're trying our music with your tech conference as well, because for conference, it's also a boost to create a vibe where attendees would be able to enjoy the moment. So very soon we started to spot all the clients in these sectors. And surprisingly, the demand of music is incredibly strong. They want music, and I had a lunch with a CEO of a record label here locally in Taiwan, and she told me that negotiating with the big three, which we see Sony, Warner, and Universal, has been very tough. Negotiating with licensing deals, unlicensing deals with traditional legacy music publishers is incredibly hard. Yet music is everywhere. So our job is to open doors to every single one, and we know that it's going to be a very interesting and it takes time, right? But the first batch of testing water period, it's really valuable, which we found our core customers, and we think 1 to 2 months we're going to release 10 million jazz songs, which is copyright clean, that platforms and the places, whether it's digital retail space, can actually use. So 10 million jazz songs, what does that mean? For the history of jazz music genre throughout the past 100 years, around 1 million-ish jazz songs were created. But now we're releasing 10 million jazz songs. So that's going to be 10 times larger than the entire history of jazz genre. So we don't know what's going to happen because we don't have any reference to go from, but it's very exciting to see how music can actually grow to that scale and level.
Okay, so one is for the revenue sharing model on Spotify or Apple Music, and the other is like advertising model. Okay, thank you. And how about you, Yuanlin? Because the founder of DeepSeek, Liang Wenfeng, has deep pockets. I'm not sure if you do. So what's your plan to monetize the company and to find a sustainable growth way in the future?
Yeah, so I think this question is about the business model, and there is something I can share is in the beginning, in the first version of Zeabur, we only support only cloud provider is AWS, and there is always some user is complain about Zeabur's pricing is too high, Zeabur is too expensive, and they just.
How much do you charge a month right now?
Actually, we charge very low price. We are $5 per month, but they are still complaining too high, too expensive. And I asked this trend user if you think Zeabur is too expensive, where you host your services, and they will answer me. I migrate my project from Zeabur to DigitalOcean or Linn, such kind of cheap VPS. So the only thing came out in my mind is, what about we can just have some partnership with DigitalOcean and Linn. And that's a recall of the concept I just mentioned before. It's called open ecosystem. Because if we're using AWS and our customer says we are too expensive, maybe we can partner with other provider that this kind of user is satisfied the price with. So we started to partner with DigitalOcean and provide a cheap option for this kind of user. So if a user is cost sensitive, they will choose DigitalOcean on Zeabur. And if a developer is more focused on the stability and the performance of his service, he will use our AWS region. So in this kind of business model, we already partnered with more than 10 cloud providers in the world. So I think choose a right business model for your startup is very important.
Yeah, $5 a month, right? Because people pay 20 for ChatGPT, I mean 5 for Zeabur sounds not. But anyway, even you charge 1 or 99%, there will always people complain. But if you do the other way, if you raise the prices to 10, do you expect that you're going to lose some users?
Yeah, so if I raise the money, we will lose some customers. So instead of doing that, we are trying to providing more value instead of just raise the price. So after we partnered with DigitalOcean and Linn, we started to introduce our Zeabur agent. And if you want to use our agent, you need to pay more, just like ChatGPT. You need to pay for the subscription fee for the AI feature. But just speak of the AI feature. If you want to rent the server from Zeabur, from DigitalOcean or AWS, you can choose the provider, the price they give us.
Yeah, never go to a price war because it's endless unless everybody goes zero, right? So, okay, so we are running almost out of time. So, but I have one final question for both of you. That we are about a month and 10 days away from 2026. So I believe that AI is still going to be the key word for 2026. So any suggestions, advice, or one word or one sentence for the entrepreneurs who are hanging tough, and like to make it all the way through to see the light of AI next year. So what would you say to them or suggest them?
Yeah, so whenever someone asks me about this question, the answer from me is always the same. There's two abilities that a founder should have. The first ability is the ability to find the pain points from your daily life. Find the problem in the existing market. This is the first ability, because if you cannot find a problem, you cannot solve the problem, and you cannot become a startup to monetize from it. And the second ability is move fast, because AI is trying to speed up everything. So if you cannot move fast, if your team cannot move fast, your product will just copy from other teams very, very fast. So I think these two kind of ability is very important.
So to find out the unmet demand of the user, the pain point, that's always what entrepreneurs do. And move fast. By saying that, how many hours sleep a night do you have, right? Like 3 hours, 4 hours, or less?
Yeah, maybe 5 hours, and very interesting because for this event, I just came back from San Francisco this morning, so I haven't slept for today.
All right, okay. But you look great on stage. What about you, Ivan?
Well, we gotta keep building first. Second, we need to build a technology, like for all the founders, we need to think about building a technology that you could have a much more powerful, whether it's a mechanism or a way that your technology cannot be copied easily. Because that's the problem that we see in San Francisco and the Bay Area so often. Like, you open a coffee shop and you add AI, then you become a coffee AI, and no one understands what that is, right? So it's a buzzword now. But in the meantime, as Yuanlin mentioned, when these big players like OpenAI or Google, when they release a new model or a new product, then a bunch of startups would die because your technology is too easy to be copied. So at Wavv, there's one thing that we dive in technology really deep, which is, while pretty much most of the music AI companies out there are training the data set that's recordings that created all the copyright infringement, we don't choose to go the same path. We choose to train on a deeper layer where how do we make music? We hum a melody, we drop a beat, we have a chords progression, and we start to look into the layer that you actually cannot copyright that layer. You cannot go out and say, I own D minor chord, or I own this Latin reggaeton beat. So for that defensibility, it's really critical for us, because that's the chance that you can think long term instead of the short term. I mean, of course, you can get some POC, raise tens of millions of dollars, then later you're going to shut down your a startup. So you got to think big, but also protect your technology in a way that no one could ever get into it easily. So I think that's really critical right now for AI.
Okay. So thank you, Ivan, and thank you, Yuanlin, for your insight sharing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.